Hispanic and Latino heritage in the United States. Roots, journeys, and voices shaping America. Hook, picture a vibrant street festival filled with the sounds of mariachi and salsa, the aroma of tacos and mofongo, and the colors of flags from dozens of countries. Listen to the voices of activists, artists, and entrepreneurs whose stories stretch from the bustling barrios of Los Angeles to the lively neighborhoods of Miami, New York, and Chicago. This is Hispanic and Latino heritage in the United States, an ever-evolving story of resilience, culture, and community that is shaping the nation's future. 1. Defining Hispanic and Latino heritage, a tapestry of origins. The terms Hispanic and Latino encompass a world of diversity. In the U.S., Hispanic typically refers to people with roots in Spanish-speaking countries of Latin America and Spain, while Latino, or Latina, Latinx, often includes people from Latin America, regardless of language. These broad umbrellas unite millions with shared experiences yet distinct backgrounds. Countries of origin. The largest groups include those with ancestry from Mexico, Puerto Rico, Cuba, El Salvador, the Dominican Republic, Guatemala, Colombia, Honduras, Peru, Ecuador, Venezuela, Nicaragua, Argentina, and Spain. But the list goes on, representing every corner of Latin America and Iberia. Ethnic and racial diversity. The Hispanic, Latino population is incredibly diverse, indigenous, European, African, Asian, or mixed descent, reflecting centuries of migration, colonization, and blending. After this topic, this diversity means the Hispanic and Latino experience in the U.S. is not one story, but many, each with its own language, traditions, and path to America. 2. Early arrivals. Before there was a United States, long before English became the language of power in North America, Spanish explorers and settlers were laying the groundwork for Hispanic heritage. St. Augustine, Florida, 1565, is the oldest continuously inhabited European established city in the U.S. Founded decades before Jamestown or Plymouth. Spanish colonization. From Florida to California, Spanish missions, towns, and forts dotted the landscape. Cities like San Antonio, Santa Fe, Los Angeles, and San Diego began as Spanish or Mexican settlements. Mexican-American roots. After the Mexican-American War, 1846-1848, vast territories, including Texas, California, Arizona, New Mexico, Nevada, Utah, and Colorado, became part of the U.S., bringing long-standing Mexican communities into a new nation overnight. After this topic, the legacy of these early settlements is still visible in place names, architecture, and the deep roots of Hispanic culture in the American Southwest. 3. Waves of migration. Seeking opportunity, safety, and family. Hispanic and Latino migration to the U.S. has occurred in waves, each driven by its own mix of push and pull factors. Mexican migration. The largest Hispanic group in the U.S., Mexican Americans have a history shaped by proximity and labor needs. The Bracero Program, 1942-1964, brought millions of Mexican laborers to American farms and railroads. Family ties, economic opportunity, and political unrest have driven migration ever since. Puerto Rican migration. As U.S. citizens since 1917, Puerto Ricans have migrated freely, especially after World War II, settling in New York, Florida, and beyond. The New Yorkan community in New York City exemplifies the blending of Puerto Rican and American cultures. Cuban migration. Political refugees fled Fidel Castro's Cuba after 1959, transforming Miami into a center of Cuban-American life. Later waves included Marielitos and others seeking freedom and opportunity. Central and South American migration. Civil wars, gang violence, and economic instability in El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, Nicaragua, Colombia, and Venezuela have driven people north, seeking asylum and new beginnings. Dominican, Colombian, and other Caribbean migration. The Northeast, especially New York City, became home to large Dominican and Colombian communities, each bringing distinct traditions and influences. After this topic, every wave of migration adds new threads to the American story, shaping neighborhoods, economies, and the nation's evolving identity. 4. building community, barrios, bodegas, and beyond. Hispanic and Latino communities have built vibrant enclaves, barrios in Los Angeles, Little Havana in Miami, Spanish Harlem in New York, where language, music, and tradition thrive. Family and social networks. The extended family, La Familia, is central, providing support and continuity across generations. Faith and religion. Catholicism remains a major force, but Protestant and evangelical churches are growing. Faith-based organizations often anchor community life. Entrepreneurship. Hispanic-owned businesses, restaurants, shops, construction firms are among the fastest growing in the country, fueling local economies and creating jobs. After this topic, these communities foster resilience and pride even as they navigate challenges of assimilation, discrimination, and economic opportunity. 5. Cultural impact. Language, food, music, and arts. Hispanic and Latino culture is woven into the American mainstream. Language. Spanish is the second most spoken language in the U.S. Bilingualism is increasingly valued in business, media, and education. Cuisine. Tacos, tamales, pupusas, arroz con pollo, ceviche, empanadas, plantains. The diversity of Hispanic and Latino foodways has transformed American palates. Music and dance, from the rhythms of salsa, merengue, reggaeton, mariachi, and banda, to the global phenomenon of Latin pop. Artists like Selena, Shakira, Bad Bunny, and Jennifer Lopez have made Latin music a force worldwide. Visual arts and literature. Artists and writers like Diego Rivera, Frida Kahlo, Sandra Cisneros, and Junot Diaz have enriched American arts and letters with new perspectives and stories. After this topic, Hispanic and Latino cultural contributions are not simply additions, they are foundational to the evolving American identity. Politics and social movements. From the fields to the Capitol, Hispanic and Latino Americans have long fought for civil rights, labor justice, and political representation. Labor and civil rights. Leaders like Cesar Chavez and Dolores Huerta organized farm workers, while activists fought for bilingual education, voting rights, and fair immigration laws. Political power. Hispanic and Latino voices are rising in Congress, state houses, and city halls. Politicians like Sonia Sotomayor, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Julian Castro, and Susana Martinez exemplify the growing influence of the community. Immigration reform. Debates over DACA, border security, and pathways to citizenship highlight ongoing struggles. Grassroots movements, student activists, dreamers, and advocacy organizations continue to push for change. After this topic, political engagement is not new for Hispanic and Latino Americans. It is rooted in generations of activism and the ongoing fight for equality and inclusion. 7. Education, innovation, and the future. Education is both a challenge and a beacon of hope. Barriers and breakthroughs. Many Hispanic and Latino students face obstacles, underfunded schools, language barriers, and access to higher education. Yet graduation rates are rising, and more students than ever are attending college. Innovation and leadership. Hispanic and Latino Americans are leaders in science, technology, business, media, and the arts. Organizations like ALPFA, Hispanic Scholarship Fund, and Latinos in Tech are building pathways for the next generation. Youth and demographics. With a median age nearly a decade younger than the national average, Hispanic and Latino youth are poised to shape the future of America in politics, the workforce, and culture. After this topic, the challenges are real, but so is the promise. The next chapter of the American story will be written in Spanish and English, blending traditions old and new. 8. Diversity within. Afro-Latinos, indigenous roots, and new voices. Hispanic and Latino identity is not monolithic. Afro-Latinos. Millions identify as both Black and Latino, bringing unique histories and perspectives. Afro-Latino culture, from music to activism, enriches both African American and Latino traditions. Indigenous heritage. Many Latinos trace roots to indigenous peoples of the Americas, preserving languages, crafts, and beliefs that predate European colonization. Recent immigrants and generational differences. New arrivals, often from Central America and Venezuela, face different journeys than families with centuries-old roots in the Southwest or Puerto Rican communities in New York. After this topic, the diversity within Hispanic and Latino America is a source of strength, creativity, and resilience. 9. Legacy and the road ahead. The Hispanic and Latino presence in the United States is not just a demographic trend, it is a living force shaping what it means to be American. Fastest growing group. As of the 2020 census, over 62 million Americans identify as Hispanic or Latino, making up nearly 1 in 5 people and representing the fastest growing demographic in the country. Shaping the future. From culture to commerce, politics to public service, Hispanic and Latino Americans are forging a new American mainstream, bolder, more inclusive, and ever-evolving. Closing hook. From the borderlands of the Rio Grande to the skyscrapers of New York, from the rhythms of reggaeton to the words of poets and presidents, Hispanic and Latino heritage is not just part of America's story, it is driving its future. In every barrio, bodega, and boardroom, the voices of Hispanic and Latino Americans remind us that the American dream is as diverse, vibrant, and unstoppable as the people who strive to make it real.